Greetings! In today's video, I have the 6th showcase of the products of Rigel Dynamics. The very first ship I will show you is called the Tuna because it's big and chunky. It is not very fast, not very maneuverable, and has a mouth that screams at you. Yeah, it has a very funky front end. The main purpose of this ship is to carry large amounts of cargo and passengers and not much else. It has flares that can drop out the back. This is mainly because the rescue pack dropped and I didn't feel like using the actual flares block. And so I've started adding regular, like old-fashioned flares to my builds because fun. Because I am averse to change and new things are less fun than just using the old things. One of the interesting parts about this ship that was supposed to happen was that it was supposed to have a walkable interior. However, it's 700 complexity, and so there is no interior. Yeah, it's just this, which is very sad. But I don't have any extra blocks, so I can't do anything with it. Yeah. It has one blaster because reasons. I'm not entirely sure. It's probably not supposed to have that blaster. I just added it in for fun. And there's not much else to say about the Tuna. It's just a cool looking design of a ship with two eyes and a mouth in front that open up and scream at you. The second ship for today is going to be the Moray. This is a stealth aircraft. I say that with a question mark because it glows in the dark, so I don't know how stealthy this is. But it goes really fast. It goes definitely a lot faster than the Tuna does. It's not particularly maneuverable, but I didn't mean for it to be. It's got magnet at the bottom, which I've used to pick up Yidify's cars and fly them around, which was really fun. And it has 3 blasters in the front. It has a lot of engine power, and it's entirely submarine capable because it uses UFO engine propulsion, so it can work underwater perfectly well without being stranded. The final feature of this, I believe, other than the weaponry, is the absolutely insane amount of flares that I added to it. It just never stops dropping them. It's very funny. I really like it because you can essentially just fly over the carrier and there's gonna just be a giant wall of fire raining down from your creation. And I enjoy it. It's just an infinite supply of fireworks. I really enjoy it. The last thing I can showcase, I guess, while coming in for a landing is the landing gear. The landing gear is not that complicated. It's just a few struts coming out because, well, mainly because I didn't have complexity for anything else. And this is all I could afford. But we accept it and we move on to this creation, which is the angelshark. Another in the quote-unquote stealth category. Hey, real quick, editing me here. A quick question for the comments. Is this thing an angelshark or an angelshark? Because I call it this one, like the whole segment of the video, and I don't know which one is the correct pronunciation. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know if you can really call this a stealth aircraft again. More than the other one, probably. It has a few lights showing up in the dark, but not nearly as many. This has shields. Not many layers of them, but enough. It's a lot more maneuverable. And is it faster? I don't remember. It's almost just as fast. It's probably a tiny bit faster than the moray. Yeah, probably. It's also completely submersible. I built this with the water in mind because I had the image in mind of a spaceship skimming the surface of the water with its wing basically touching the ocean's surface, and this is what I built in response to that image in my brain. Now that's not as possible as I thought it could be, like as you're seeing, as because the moment the wingtip touches the ocean, it kind of drags you into the water and kills you. I wonder if that's an artifact of my wingtips not being completely drag glitch. I wonder if I did completely drag glitch my wingtip, that would solve that. But I can't because of the flat connectors. I should try that. I should try that as an experiment. Just make a wingtip out of blocks and then figure out how to do it from there. Regardless, it has significantly more guns than the moray because it's also, well, more maneuverable, so it can point them better. Just a lot of weapons. And then obviously it has my favorite feature, which is just a disgusting amount of fireworks. A disgusting amount of just sconces getting unleashed into the ocean, and and fun. I don't know, there's no particular reason for them other than I like dropping things that are on fire on people's heads, I guess. Makes me happy. That's the angelshark. The second last creation for today is the greynurse shark. No, not like, it's technically the name of a shark, but I'm not, like, it's the greynurse. That's okay. I tried to make a smaller, more compact version of the tiger shark with more shapes and less combat focus, essentially. And I originally tried to use simply thrusters to power it, which left me with 0 complexity. And the only real reason I was making this is because the fireworks had been released, and I wanted to make a spaceship with a lot of fireworks, as you can see they're here and on the other side, to get a certain effect out of them, which I will show you shortly. Unfortunately, making this thruster powered left me 0 complexity left to use for fireworks. And so I converted it into a hoverpad powered creation. It works 17 million times better, and I have extra complexity. Yeah. So I have many guns, which I can aim in all sorts of different directions, even behind me, just like the tiger shark can. I have some shields, and unfortunately they're beans, because this creation is too large to have just one centralized set of shields, and I'm sort of debating not having the shields at all, because I really don't like them. And that's all of the features of it, really. Other than, if I press Z, I have cool fireworks coming out the side. And this is extra cool when I rotate like this, because I can spin to win, and it does no damage to anybody. And I really like the visual of the radial fireworks display coming out in a giant circle around me. Yeah. Purely aesthetic, no function at all, just fun. Just fun flares things. Yeah, I don't recommend this at all. It costs so much complexity because fireworks are so complexity intensive, and it's just not helpful at all, but it's a lot of fun to have. So yeah, I enjoy it. Alright, the final creation is the king crab, because it has a crown, as you can see. It is it's a walker. It's a very complex walker. Don't let the goofiness of it fool you. So I'm really happy with this, actually. It's very goofy, I know, but it has different animations for turning while moving forward and turning while static, which I put quite a lot of effort into, and I would like to just make known. Yeah, I have a forward walking animation. It adds a layer onto it while turning if I'm also holding W. And then it's just completely different animation for when I'm static and turning. I really like it. I worked hard on it. The main feature of it is obviously the crown of Bombays, which I can activate the front two individually. As you can see, we have the indicators for them. I activate them basically with left click and right click, and the two indicator lights at the front tell me when they're firing. There's a lot of timing logic in here to minimize the possibility of me blowing myself up with the Bombays, and it doesn't really work. However, it's okay. Well, so the reason this is called the king crab is because it has a crown of Bombays. And what does it do with the crown of Bombays? You press space and it has a short load up time, which lights up both rows of lights and activates a mad scientist block in the center. And then all of the Bombays fire around you, which creates this giant, well, I guess you could call it a crown of explosions. And everything dies. Yeah, that's the main function of this. Interesting trivia about this thing. Yeah, this is what the build mode looks like. Oh, that's what one does. Okay, yeah, this is what the build mode looks like. It's basically 650 complexity, and all of it is logic blocks. I dare anybody to figure this out. Yeah, this is pretty intense. As you can see, when I spawn it in, the lights turn on progressively. And basically, when all of the orange lights are on, I know that it's armed and I can fire it. Because if I press any buttons before the orange lights turn on, it'll basically not fire off any of the firing systems. Because I didn't want to blow myself up every time I spawned in and tried to just immediately shoot, because I didn't remember that Bombays have insane delays. I'm pretty sure it's a 5-second delay between when you press repair and the thing spawns in and when the Bombays are actually armed, which is insane. Like, I don't understand why it's 5 seconds, but it's fine, I guess. Yeah, so that's the main function of this. I wanted a crown of Bombays to blow everything around me up while I'm just trotting around at 20 kilometers an hour. It is an extremely enjoyable little creation. And there you go. This has been the 6th showcase of the products of Rigel Dynamics. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the future.